All right. Dirty Sports episode 886. We are live on YouTube in 5, 4, 3. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio, with my co-host from Los Angeles, California, Joey No Chill Prano.
Hello, Andrew.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I knew that was coming. Saw it from a mile away, Joey.
You know what? I just realized that I feel like we tend to do evening podcasts more on Thursdays than on Mondays. I just realized this is like an evening podcast. I mean, it's 7:00 your time, 4:00 my time. I've got a vitamin water here, but I think at some point, maybe while we have soccer correspondent Michael Magid on talking World Cup, I might have to sneak into the kitchen, grab me a Miller Lite.
Yeah, man. I think
This
you
afternoon,
should too.
it's happy hour here in Los Angeles.
Yeah, no, you should. You should. We are going to start off since the U.S. played their match. So we're going to start off a little World Cup.
Did the U.S. play?
Wales.
I am to soccer what Andy Ruther is to every sport besides football. Like I foresee me not watching any of this World Cup. And I mean, I already said that on past episodes because Italy's not in, but like the USA I honestly did not know the USA was on today.
Well,
I had a busy day, but
we'll bring out Michael because I might be joining you. I mean,
Magid.
I don't want to trash soccer, but it might like this is what this guy does. That's his thing.
It's funny because I like the World Cup as an event. I'm happy. I mean, I'm
more prone like that this year. It's just like it's such a shit show.
I know, but I'm more prone to trash soccer itself than I am the World Cup. I'm like, oh, okay, well, it's a thing. It's a thing to do. But
Agreed.
the sport in general.
I agree.
When Magid comes on, I'm gonna roll around on the floor holding my leg like I've been shot with a shotgun, and then I'll just slide into the kitchen, get myself a Miller Lite.
Well, that's one of the things I'd like to bring up. Let's just bring him on. So, our buddy, I mean, he's got a lot going on. You might know him as the Nacho King. I mean, that's kind of where he's at now.
The helmet Nacho King specifically.
The helmet Nacho King.
We're gonna have to have Michael Magid eat nachos out of like a shin guard in honor of the World Cup or something.
Ooh, I like that idea. Yeah.
Here he is connecting from the Union.
Look at that.
Look at this.
Look how professional this guy is. Welcome.
He looks like an esports gamer. That looks like someplace somebody would play Call of Duty.
Michael Magid, welcome back to the show. I feel like it's a tradition unlike no other. You come on every 4 years to talk World Cup.
Every 4 years, I come on to talk World Cup for a good solid 5 minutes. So it's the massive amount of soccer love that this show gives. So it's amazing. No, honestly, I'm just really honored to be on this show. I've got my teleprompter in front of me right now, so let me just make sure that I can read to the next page. That would be great. No, honestly, this is really cool, guys. I as you all know, I'm a massive fan of the show, and
you're a dirtball.
I am. I am a dirtball. I mean, I guess I have to admit that. And honestly,
but hold on, let me hop in real quick. You also host your own soccer podcast. Like
I do.
Drop a plug for that right now. I mean, you should.
Okay.
Because it's all in the background. You're like a NASCAR event right now.
I mean, I'm in my podcast area, so yeah, I've got a show called Inside the 18. We have guests on from all over the world, throughout soccer, basically from the Premier League, from MLS, national teams, all that sort of thing. We have them on. We break down their plays. We have a 99 World Cup winner, Saskia Weber, who is a co-host with me. I have an LAFC coach who's a host with me. And then I'm the jackass that does the Andy Ruther role. So that's what I do.
Which is what is the Andy Ruther rule? Specify that.
It's the segues. It's leading into the ad reads. It's all those sorts of things. By the way, can we all speak about the fact, because this is the elephant in the room, Qatar, the entire World Cup right here. If they had a different beer sponsor, would things have been different, Joe?
I think so. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel like, you show up to Qatar with some Miller Lights. Everybody's suddenly like, you know what? Maybe gays aren't so bad.
I think you're right about that. I think Miller Lite would revolutionize that entire region of the world.
Yeah.
If they just allowed it for one game in the stadium, it would change things.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well,
Michael Magid, start me off this way.
Okay.
The World Cup is already upon us. It has already begun. So I'm already late to get started on this. But
Joe Prano, did you not watch the United States against Wales?
I did not watch the United States against Wales today. I had a busy day. But if you had to give me three things I need to keep an eye out for in the Qatar World Cup, what's the top stories here?
Okay, well, do you want from a sports standpoint, or do you want from just a human interest standpoint?
Yeah, I think all of it, because I'm basically coming okay, get me interested in the World Cup today, even though it's already started. I want to be involved. Convince me to be involved.
Well, Joe, there's a lot of things that I'm sure that you're a big fan of, and I'm sure one of them is storage facilities. And if you'd like to stay in a storage facility, you can do that in Qatar for $200 a night. So Andy Ruther actually shared with me on the Reddit, on the Dirty Sports Reddit, some of the images that some of the dirtballs had been sharing from the World Cup, and literally people are staying in they look like prison combines, essentially.
Well, I believe they were referred to as refugee camps. If you were, fleeing a country.
Yeah.
But here's my thing.
I'm just picturing some sort of Fyre fest of soccer.
Oh, dude, it literally looks that's exactly what it looks like.
That's actually perfect.
What about this? You can only drink beer in certain designated areas, including specific hotels.
Wow.
And when you go to that hotel, it is a $95 beer.
No.
I'd be like,
yes.
No.
Yes.
Speaking of the Fyre Fest of soccer, I'd be the guy in the Fyre Fest documentary. He's like, I was prepared to suck dick for a Miller Lite. Yes, I was going to blow a guy for a 6-pack of Miller Lite in Qatar.
So wait a second. Hold on. I knew, that was the big news that came out on Friday, I believe, that no alcohol was allowed in the stadium. And I won't say their name, but one of the other beer makers in our country had put $75 million in the sponsorship. So you're telling me, not only is it not in the stadium, there's the designated areas, $95?
$95 in a hotel. Not in the designated FIFA fan festival area where people apparently got crushed yesterday because they did not have enough space for everybody. Because it's literally the only place you can drink a beer that's not $100. So, yeah.
This seems like it's going well.
I feel like a lot of soccer hooligans are going to go over to the World Cup, not be able to get blackout drunk, and realize soccer kind of sucks. They're like,
that's funny.
What? This is really fun when we're wasted and knifing each other to death. I feel like English soccer hooligans finding out what it feels like to stab somebody to death sober is really going to change their lives.
Well, speaking of stabbing people to death while they're down, obviously things are going not great in Iran right now, and England just decided to make things worse for everybody in regards to how they feel, because it was a 6-2 drubbing this morning, England-Iran. And personally, for me, England is a favorite to win the World Cup. On paper, I think they have one of the best teams in the World Cup. They're so deep that when they brought in their subs, all those guys are starters for some of the biggest clubs in the world. So it's pretty. But let
me ask you this. I think Joe's bringing up a good point. Yeah. The thought of, you're saying, so England has a legit shot to win the World Cup. The thought of English, every time I think of England in soccer, I just think of drunk hooligans. The thought of these guys being sober, it just doesn't make any sense to me. How's this going to play out?
Not well.
Or are they just not there?
Here's the thing.
Who's there?
Well, Andy, I don't know if you saw, you're the one that shared this with me. So
yeah, I saw.
The fake, Joe, have you heard about the fake fans?
Oh, Joe, have you seen this video?
No.
Oh, so
dude, it's amazing.
It's incredible, because essentially what they did is they paid migrant workers who already are treated so well in that country. So I'm sure this was completely voluntary on their part, not mandatory in any way whatsoever. through their indentured servitude, but they had literally dressed up as fans from other countries. Andy showed me one of a bunch of Croatian fans that looked like they're all from Bangladesh.
Yeah. So the video, it's like somebody made a video, and I think I quote tweeted it and put it out on Dirty
Croatia.
Sports. Yeah. It's this video. It's a montage of the fans that they quote unquote have paid. Again, we don't know if they've actually paid them, but it looks like mostly Indian men who are representing, you name it, everything from like Iran to Croatia to Spain. And you're like, these people are not from these countries, I guess, because nobody's going. Now, I saw something wild today personally. A kid, one of my college buddies,
is there.
He posted on his Facebook, "Hello world, we are here." And it looks like it's him with his family. And I'm thinking, of all the world, I'm going to talk to him. I don't know if he has phone access because they probably don't have that also in Qatar. What would
also, you're not sure he has hands anymore because he tried to drink a beer. He's like, "I'm sorry, I'm so slow texting you. I'm texting you with my nose after I accidentally walked out of Fan Fest while holding 3 ounces of beer, and they took a saber and cut off my hands at the wrists."
And Joe, as we all know, that hand is being displayed in the center square.
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
So let's talk about the actual match. I watched the last 30 minutes, and not gonna lie,
first half was way better. US was great in the first half.
Okay, so I missed. Well, I saw some of the flop fest in the second half, and not gonna lie, it angered me enough to tweet about it. And which soccer fans are very defensive. I've noticed. I took a dig.
It takes a lot to get Andy Ruther to tweet nowadays too.
I know,
this
right?
This is very, very serious.
Well, all I said was,
he had a two password, 2 login verification. You know what I mean? He had to remember his password, reset it.
Oh yeah, all I said was, thank you. I would thank the World Cup for reminding me every 4 years why I don't watch soccer. Again, obviously you're a soccer guy. You and I have actually, I attended the best soccer event I've ever seen live with you, which was USA Mexico at the Rose
Speaking
Bowl.
of beer being allowed at the stadium, oh my God, I'm pretty sure we were covered in beer when we left that.
Yeah,
game.
see, and that's the thing. That's a good point. Like, Joe, that's what it should be like. We go to USA Mexico at the Rose Bowl. 90,000 people, probably I'd say 80,000.
Well, that's
for Mexico.
We don't,
and they were going crazy with the booze, and it was fun.
Well, we don't talk college football on this show anymore because I don't watch college football. I don't really keep up with it, but I can't think of 1 or 2 times in my life that somebody has invited me to a college football game and I said no, because it's like, oh, if you're going to go to a college football game, there's going to be tailgating, there's going to be atmosphere, there's going to be beer. I've gone to the Rose Bowl a million times in LA for college football games I didn't care about. I've gone to the Coliseum. I mean, I've been to college football games all over the country as a guy who doesn't care about college football. It's the same way that I would go to a World Cup game, or I would go to a big international game, or even I've gone to Major League Soccer in Los Angeles, and that's a fun vibe. But like, that's what you go for. I go for the weird flares being shot off in certain sections of the thing, and the scarves, and the drinking. And you're telling me in Qatar you can't do any of this stuff?
I mean, you can do some things. You can sit in the stands quietly and clap. You can do that. You're a big fan of that?
What do you think is going on now? Obviously, this is your wheelhouse. Like, what's going on with the players? That's what I was thinking about when I was watching the Wales USA match. I kept thinking these poor guys. Like this is the biggest event every 4 years, and like especially some of these guys who might not ever do it again or might get one chance. Like, what's going on in their head while they're playing? This has got to suck.
I don't know if you heard about this, Andy, but the players were told that if they wore any sort of this protest type, armbands or shirts or anything like that, that they were going to be fined significantly and also be given a yellow card. Now, if you get 2 yellow cards, that's the equivalent of a red card, which means you get kicked out of the game and you can't play the next game. So that's pretty serious. Because a lot of the players were going to wear LGBT supporting armbands and things like that. And they basically at the last minute.
Let me ask you something, Magid, because it's insane that we're talking about the World Cup, and it's insane that this is where the conversation has to start this year. Is the World Cup essentially like just like the Olympics, where the only way you're receiving, like you're hosting a World Cup, is through horrible corruption and backdoor money, bribes, and like whatever? Is that like, why are we even talking about this? Like, why is this in Qatar?
I mean, there was literally confirmed that there was bribing that took place, and they're like, I don't know what to do. We already did it. We already did the voting. It's like, it is your organization. It's like the IOC. It's like, yeah, you can go back on your word. It's your organ. Dude, it'd be like if something happened with Dirty Sports and be like, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. We already did that. It's like, no, it's your podcast. You can change it. So you can go back on that. But
didn't FIFA force, like, how much money had to be involved in bribing for FIFA not to go, this will actually cost us money in the long run by putting it someplace people don't want to visit. People are going to protest. We're talking about giving guys yellow cards just for, again, like having an armband or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I think, one of the things, if you kind of think about it right there, is that it must have been a significant enough amount of money that they knew that they would cover their losses. I don't know how much they gave to, the representative for, Tunisia or, a smaller country, to get their vote, but they did. And the same thing happened with Russia, and the same thing happens with the IOC, with the Olympics.
Well, I was going to say, like, I'm already looking ahead. Like, I know the next World Cup is USA, Canada, and Mexico. And I'm looking, I didn't know this. Those three countries beat out by a rival bid of Morocco. It's like, dude, we're talking about all of North America squeaked out in a vote against Morocco. Like, You know what I'm saying? Like the infrastructure in the stadiums, how great that's going to be to have matches all over North America. But hey, they barely squeaked it out against Morocco.
But here, and also let's be honest with you, the reason they chose the United States for 26 is because they knew that the money they would make in 26 would surpass whatever the Moroccan bid was, however much they bribed. So it's I don't know, man.
Let's get back to the soccer portion of this.
Like, I know I need to get out of here soon.
You said England is a favorite. Who are the other teams I got to watch out for?
I mean, definitely watch out for Brazil. Brazil's always consistent. They've got some really, really solid players. I mean, I think Casemiro and Vinicius Jr. are like kind of on like that cusp of becoming
who? Valanciunas Jr. Who?
Vinicius Jr.
Vinicius Jr. Okay.
Yeah. Fernando Valenzuela Jr. That's actually who plays for Brazil. For Brazil. I'm sorry to my speaking of Mexico and my friends down south of the border, but Mexico,
by the way,
is going to go out in the group.
Somebody questioned, I saw on YouTube, somebody questioned your Spanish heritage. Give us some World Cup analysis in Spanish.
Oh my God. You're going to put me on the spot right there.
Come on. You can do it.
Oh my God. Okay. Entonces, mira, a México no vas a pasar al grupo porque creo que el equipo de México, mira, muchos de los jugadores de México son tan jóvenes y no tienen la experiencia a ir al otro lugar en el World Cup or Copa del Mundo, por ejemplo. I just said right there, I said
he said, be careful with the fajitas. The plate is very hot.
I think it was something about nacho helmets.
Yes.
Okay.
Were you talking about were you talking about the goalkeeper?
No, I was talking about the experience level of the Mexican players. A lot of them are younger players in regards to like their higher level players. Some of them are injured. They don't have the experience to get to that next level. Some of their older players, son viejitos. They're older. It's not going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen for Mexico.
Who are your rooting interests? Who are the teams you're pulling for?
I'm pulling for the U.S. men's national team. I'm pulling for Canada. I love stories like that. Canada's become, look, as we all know, they get a lot of flack, our neighbors to the north, whatever. But they put a really solid program together. And the fact that they're co-hosting in 26 for them to make this World Cup, I think that's massive. They really got a short end of the stick when it came to the seeding because they should have been a higher seed based on the talent level. They've got a guy named Alphonso Davies who hopefully will play in the first match. He's been dealing with an injury from his club time at Bayern Munich, where, I mean, he's considered one of the best outside backs in the world. He's so good, but he's one of these guys, Joe, those guys, those utility guys that like for like their all-star team or like their club team, like, they play a certain position, but for the high school, they have to play a glory position because they have no other skilled players.
Yeah.
So he's one of those guys.
That's him on the Canadian team.
Yeah, like he plays like left. He plays like outside back for Bayern Munich, which is like a defensive position. And for like Canada, he's like a striker. Like, you know, it's like one of those things. He's an
it's
outside
like how
mid, really.
it's like how Frank Ntilikina got minutes on the French team, but could not manage to get on the floor for the New York Knicks, even though we drafted him in the first fucking round. Sorry, not that I'm upset about it.
You guys have made some good choices.
Yeah.
So like on a well, first of all, I have to ask, are nachos? Can you eat nachos? Do we know about this? Are nachos allowed in Qatar?
I don't know about that. I'm sure they've got a hummus plate of some sort that it comes in some sort of a helmet type of act. I'm going to get canceled for saying what I was about to say, so I'm just going to leave it at that. There are devices that they wear, so let's just say that. In that
here's the thing. I do want to laugh real quick about the promo. Don't the promos make you laugh? They make it sound like so sweet over there. Like everything's peachy keen. You're like, dude, I know what's going on. Like the world knows what's going on.
Oh yeah, completely.
Give me a prediction. Who wins?
Who wins the entire World Cup? I think England. I think it's coming home. I think they look like the most dominant team from what I saw this morning right now. I think they're so deep. If they don't have any injuries, I think I think it's finally time since the 50s for England to win a World Cup.
Does the U.S. stand any chance against
That's
them?
what I was going to ask.
I think it's going to be a 2-0 loss for the U.S. I think they're going to keep it to 2-0.
2-0.
What is the U.S. chances of even getting out of group play?
Well, after today, it's not as great, but I think they still make it out of the group, and I think they lose to the Netherlands in the second round.
Now, let me ask you something, because you've got England winning it all. When you think about England as a country athletically, it's pretty much the only thing that we think about. Like, there's not a lot. Like, we go over there just to play football games and be like, you guys remember sports? They don't fare too well normally, really, with like there'll be a person or two who like does something in, Olympics in the winter or summer Olympics. It's really not a real athletic country. Are they good at soccer just because it's been so long that they're like, this is like, why are they good at soccer? Like Brazil, I get it.
Because they're good at soccer because it's like baseball, like us with baseball. Like they've been playing it for 150, 170 years, basically. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, look, man, I know you got to go. We really appreciate, because I know nothing about soccer. I know.
Hey, I'm happy to come back on the show during the World Cup and express more explanations on why this game is worth both of you guys watching it. So
we'll see you in 4 years.
Yeah. Unless Italy doesn't make it again, then we'll see you in 8.
Michael Magid, hey man, I know you got nachos to eat, but we'll bring you back on, and calls are always welcome if you want to continue with any nacho stadium reviews.
And give us your podcast again so people can get more in-depth soccer talk.
It's Inside the 18. It's available on all platforms. We'll put it in the show notes so you guys can check it out, or I'll retweet it out so you guys get all the links.
Cool.
Michael
Thanks, Magid.
Later, guys.
Magid out.
Very efficient.
Very efficient. Yeah. I had more questions for Magid. He's like, I gotta go. I'm like, that's fine. Honestly, you're saving me from having to bumble through more soccer talk.
You know how long it takes to make a helmet full of nachos.
Like, I got a nacho boot.
Just saying.
And that was soccer talk for the next 4 years.
Here's a good over-under or overrated, underrated. Making nachos drunk or stoned. Overrated or underrated?
Overrated.
Ooh,
so much work. You're layering, you're ovening. Like, you're not if you microwave the nachos, you're just getting like sauce, soggy nacho pile. Like, it's just so much effort.
I think you got to microwave them, man.
You got to microwave them?
Well,
you got to oven them.
Well, no, because here's the deal. Like, here's my move. I get like the cheddar cheese. Well, I used to get the flaxseed tortillas from Trader Joe's, which they don't now. That's like the vegetable flaxseed, which I know isn't as good, the veggie chips. But you do the cheddar cheese in that, and then you do some steak. It actually and some salsa. It actually tastes decent with the microwave, because the ovens, that's just like so much work. So you're gonna go overrated.
What are you doing? So what are you doing? How are you getting this steak? Where's this steak coming from? You're cooking steak?
No, there's this Costco sells this like pre-cooked sliced steak. And it's actually good. It's like healthy steak. And I rip off the slices, rip them off a little finer, put it on top. That's if I want to like go all out. If not, you can just do the basic cheese and chips. But you think it's overrated?
If I'm doing basic cheese and chips, give me like Tostitos and I'll just like, scoop queso out of a jar.
Yeah. Okay.
Queso underrated, nachos overrated.
Really?
I love a good queso dip.
I think a lot of people like queso.
Just give me a bowl of hot queso and just just give me the chips out of the bag.
Okay.
Makes me want to buy a crock pot tomorrow. Start doing some queso makings.
Yeah. No, I'm big now. I've been big on like pub cheese.
Pub cheese, yeah.
Those pretzels and pub cheese.
Yeah.
Right.
Love it. For sure.
What was more interesting, us discussing pub cheese and nachos or discussion about World Cup?
I think the cheese personally. I know we got a lot of soccer fans, but that's something I have always appreciated about our show, Andy. We stick to what we know. We're not trying to pretend we're World Cup, experts. We're not pretending we're MMA experts.
Yeah.
We got football games to watch.
Hey, I'm not an expert in anything. I just give my takes. You can listen, you can like it, you can hate me. I don't really care. I just know that I like sports.
I'm an expert in evaluating quarterbacks. That's what I've learned. It's like at this point now, I just like sit back with my hands behind my head, my feet up on Sundays, and I just go, right again.
You talking about Kirk Cousins?
It feels good to be right again. Yeah, of course I'm talking about Kirk Cousins. Did we get any calls? Did we get any apology calls?
Not a single one.
Oh, maybe it's because
in fact, you know what? The hotline was off the charts last week with calls, just in general. I saw we have one call. I haven't even listened to it. Like it went pretty silent.
It might have been that I tweeted, "Don't call," because we're just going to play your calls from last week and laugh at them.
Well, look, man, when that Dallas defense, this is why to me Dallas is a legit Super Bowl contender. If that defense can play like it did yesterday and some of these other games, if the defense plays lights out, they're a tough out, man.
I think that their defense is really good. There's no doubt about it. They have playmakers on that defense. Like, they have the ability to play well. Also, you have a game yesterday where it's like Dallas's defense has, they've been good at times and they've been mediocre at times. And I think the reason that was a bit of a paper tiger bowl, in my opinion, yesterday is because there's still question marks everywhere. And the big question mark, if you're a Minnesota Vikings fan, which isn't really a question mark because I have the answer, is if you play a defense that even at times rushes the passer well, your quarterback sucks. He sucks. He's not bad. He's not mediocre. He's not okay. Kirk Cousins against a above average or better pass rush fucking stinks. Always has, always will. I told you guys this was going to happen. And it's like no one fucking listens.
Yeah. Well, look, it was a nightmare, and obviously I was like, oh, I'll just go with the Vikings for the fun of it, which I regret.
And now there'll be something about they didn't give him any time and blah, blah, blah. I'm so sick too of people who just can't realize, like, guys, yeah, when you're not getting time, give rid of the fucking ball. How many times was he sacked yesterday?
I don't know. Let's pull it up.
7? 6?
It was a lot. Let's see. How many times was Kirk Cousins sacked? He was sacked 7 times. 14.9 QBR.
He didn't play the fucking 85 Bears 7 times. That's if you get sacked 4 times, okay, you guys had a rough day. You get sacked 7 times, that's on you, bro. Get rid of the ball, dude. And also, I'm just stepping out and like I'm cutting off at the pass whatever fucking excuses somebody's gonna make. You guys were Super Bowl contenders last week. No credit was given to you guys against the Bills. You guys stunk it up because Kirk Cousins against a pass rush is bad. So all that has to happen for you guys to be actual Super Bowl contenders is for you to somehow draw in the playoffs 4 straight games where you don't face an above average pass rush against only playoff teams. Good luck.
Well, at this point, it's such a wide open field just across the league, and especially in the NFC. Philly struggles again yesterday, wins the very end. The Giants lay an egg, which you predicted against the Lions.
The tough part about the Giants laying an egg is they lay an egg and massive injuries. The New York Giants, and the Jets together, and I guess the people at MetLife and the people at the fucking stated parks of New Jersey or whatever. We've got to do something about the turf at MetLife. It's the fucking ACL monster. It's just eating people's knees week in and week out.
I think well, that was one of the stadiums I saw, and I don't have the list in front of me. I wish I did. The NFL listed like 7 or 8 stadiums that are major issues for injuries. That was one of them.
Well, because here's the thing that they do with these stadiums now. And I know we've talked about grass versus turf, whatever. But when you build these stadiums like MetLife, and you build these stadiums that for the sole purpose of getting a Super Bowl, getting a whatever, it's like the Giants play there, the Jets play there, they got Monster Jam there, they got the Springsteen concert there, Taylor Swift's there. They're putting things down on that turf all the time, crushing it, bringing it back up, never gets a break, and then suddenly every guy on all of your football teams tears an ACL or an MCL.
So 6 stadiums were called out by the NFL Players Association as far as being the most injury prone, and also the fact that they have a slit film turf is what it's called. It's used at MetLife, Ford Field, US Bank Stadium, where the Vikings play, Caesar Superdome, Lucas Oil, and Paycor Stadium, where the Bengals play. So it's like, it's this type of turf that they use.
I'm worried that Odell's going to go to the Cowboys just so he can play on not this turf. God, that would be the most heartbreaking thing ever.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, they got to figure something out. I don't know, man. Like, it's just fascinating to me that like it's taken them this long to make a correlation with the surface on the field. But you're right, they're not going to change it because it's all about it's like everything. It's all about money. The Lions have won 3 in a row, man. I'll be honest. Like I'm a little disappointed in that because the over under they're in that wheelhouse now. It's like 6.5. They're there.
I'm not really that worried about them still. Like they won 3 in a row. They have the Bills next. Then they have the Jaguars. Okay, so let's give them 1. Then they have the Vikings. They're like, the Vikings stink, but the Lions aren't beating them. And by the Vikings stinking, I mean Kirk Cousins stinks, and they're not fucking legit, but they're not going to lose to the Lions. And then you do get Jets, Panthers, Bears, but like it's still the Lions.
They're building something there, man.
The reason I don't believe in the Lions is because the Giants lost them. If the Lions were good, the Giants would have fucking played to their competition and been good. But like, this is something that was so frustrating for me, because it's like I picked them to win, even though I had this feeling, because I have this feeling that just historically I was like, oh, maybe this is different. This is Dable. He's getting this team up. Now we had a lot of injuries coming into this game and in this game, but they just got their ass kicked. And it's just like, this is a thing that this Giants team does. And I tweeted it. It's like, we lose to a debacle of a Browns team on Monday Night Football post Super Bowl when, Plaxico shoots himself. We lose to an expansion Texans with David Carr. And there's 1,000 examples of these. The Giants, when they're halfway decent, love to lose to the fucking absolute worst team that they can find.
That would have been a huge win too, man, with how things played out yesterday.
Yeah, would have been.
It's pretty wide open right now. So you mentioned the Jets. Defense continues to play. Zach Wilson he's just a fucking train wreck. He's a little punk.
Zach Wilson,
He's a punk,
yeah,
man. He's a punk.
Zach Wilson,
He's a child.
A couple bad throws, but one exceptional throw in that game, toward the end, and by that I mean when he threw his defense under the bus. Like the only throw you make the whole day is just throw. Like, they gave you an opportunity, dude, to take one on the chin and say, we got to be better. That's when you call him a punk, it's like, that's what it's about.
That's what it's about. I'll play it right now.
As an offense, though, I mean, when you guys are only able to score 3 points, the defense only lets up 3 points. I mean, do you feel like you let the defense down at all?
No.
I mean, he's so quick to say no, point to the reporter, next question. Like, dude, you're a punk, man. Your defense gives up 3 points the whole game. You give up a walk-off punt return touchdown, which is very rare. And you say no? I don't want to play with you.
But also, we've seen the Sam Darnold seeing ghosts thing. We've seen whatever, but like, Zach Wilson is overthrowing guys on screens. He's throwing balls 10 feet over the head of guys just standing in the flat. Like, what in the hell is going on here?
Yeah.
Like, he's bad.
I know it's year 2, man. But these guys, I don't think they turned it around. Like,
but
he could,
and I think that's
like when you have a good defense, you know how easy that is as a quarterback. When you have a great defense, it's so easy as a quarterback. Don't make mistakes. Make the throws, and you have to make the throws.
Or honestly, just do all you have to do.
Be Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah, but all you have to do if you're Zach Wilson yesterday, he's missing guys wide open. It's like, you don't have to make the throw. Be Jared Goff on the Rams. Like, only complete the passes that are wide open because of scheme.
Yeah.
He's throwing for 77 yards in a game. He's overthrowing guys on the flat on screen pass, throwing it into the stands.
But like,
he went full Oprah. You get a football and you get a football. People in the crowd just catching footballs.
Just his body language, man. I felt this way all along. He just kind of looks like that he wants to be handed everything, and that's definitely not how it is in the NFL. And he just exude, like, you know how like a player will exude something. Like, he just exudes that he should be given everything, and like, he's like a spoiled little brat.
I'm telling you, they need to start getting creative with the Wonderlic, because I feel like, first of all, I feel like the Wonderlic is pretty good, but they need to add a couple questions. They need to be like, what kind of porn are you into? And if some 22-year-old star quarterback says MILF porn, you got to be like, bro, what are we talking about here? Why are you into 50-year-old? Why are you trying to bang your mom's friends? Like to me, that's mental illness.
Wait a second. Hold on. There's a guy who went through a hardcore MILF stage at like that age.
Yeah, I also don't want you. I don't want young Andy Ruther. I'm not giving young Andy Ruther franchise quarterback money either.
True. Okay.
The Wonder needs a MILF porn question.
Like when I see him,
like when I sit down for an interview at the combine with Zach Wilson, and I'm like, so what are you into? He's like, docking in 50-year-old women, or like soaking in 50. They're like, what? It's like, well, I'm a Mormon, so I can't move. So I can't move it around. But I'd like to find one of my mom's friends and just lay inside her for a while. And they're like, all right, you're now a 6th round draft pick.
I like you call it docking.
Yeah, I always mix up docking and soaking.
So when I see him,
I would try neither. That's why they're both I would never do either.
That should be a reality show, man. Like, how long can you soak without doing a pump? Like, how long? Like, and then there's a range of like hotness for the people. Like, can you soak on someone this attractive? Oh, we're getting somebody more attractive. Like, does the soaking reflect the person's attraction?
Also, like if you're regularly soaking, it doesn't give me confidence about your pocket presence.
No,
You're just gonna be there, like, nervously, like, oh, been in here 4 seconds, been in here 5 seconds, I better throw the ball into the fucking stands. Yeah, Zach Wilson's bad. We got it. It's funny because the reporter who asked him that question sounded a lot. He had a little bit Jersey twang to him. It almost sounded as if newest Hall of Fame member Kyle Aronofsky was asking him that question. But Kyle texted me yesterday and he said, Ryan Fitzpatrick wins that game. And I was like, yeah, no shit.
I mean, that's a classic Patriots win. Just play defense and get a walk-off punt return. It's amazing. So I see how he is, and then I see how Burrow is in his interviews. And they're around the same age. They're probably 2 years apart or something. And it's like, it's night and day about people taking accountability and one guy who's obviously already been to the Super Bowl. I'm telling you, man, and I know you're calling me like Burrow is playing so fucking good. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, here's my thing now. I think Burrow took another step yesterday. Watt made 2 interceptions were amazing plays. Like, just amazing plays. I'm not even putting those on Burrow. When you're down your top wide receiver and your top running back, and you're getting a guy who has never made a catch in the NFL. I don't know if he made a catch, but a guy who just promoted from the practice squad, scoring touchdowns. Like, I think Burrow, I have him right beneath Holmes in the AFC at this point.
Right beneath Patrick Mahomes
in the AFC.
Did you start appreciating all Kenny Pickett yesterday? I think Kenny Pickett played okay yesterday.
He did play okay in the first half.
I like it.
Now the announcers they're all about no, that was a growth game for him. I was surprised how well he played. That was a growth game. Some are calling it the Zach Taylor revenge game against Andy Ruther. It was a revenge weekend, as we know, as you know, as Randy Ruther knows. So we're in a preseason tournament.
Your basketball team.
For the 5th grade boys that I coached.
5th grade basketball team.
And we win Friday. So Saturday we get one of the other local teams around here. And I'm just watching the game and there's this really good kid on the team. And my buddy says to me, like 2 minutes into the game, he goes, that's Zach Taylor's kid. I was like, the Bengals coach? And he goes, you're not paying attention. He goes, he's sitting directly across from us, first row. He's here watching his kid. Zach Taylor's kid put up 19 out of their 35 points. We literally could not make a shot. We lost 35-6 with Zach Taylor sitting front row.
As Matty Goldberg would say, boat race.
Yeah. I couldn't help but think a little A little Zach Taylor revenge game on me.
Yeah.
And,
He's been listening to what you're saying, and he was like, "Oh, we're not taking the foot off the gas. We're gonna beat Andy Ruther's team to the ground because he says I can't coach." Meanwhile, with Zach Taylor's kid beats you 19-6. You still get blown out.
yeah, his
Even
kid single-handedly.
if he plays by himself, you get blown out.
Single-handedly.
Andy Ruther's on the Zach Taylor can't coach. He's like, I don't even coach this team. I just coached one kid on this team, and he blew you out.
I'll give him credit though. And I told Randy this today. I think that was maybe I'm missing something. I think that was the best called Bengals game that I've seen in the Joe Burrow era, play calling wise. I think it was a great called game yesterday because it was all about, hey, we're down our deep threat, our game breaker, which they've been down a few times, but we can dink and dunk, man. We can do the 10-yard pass, the 12-yard pass. We can hit T. Higgins when we need to. We can hit the tight ends. We can hit, P-Ron. Like, I think that was a very well-called game. I'll give credit where credit's due. Now, do I think the Bengals might run the table like Randy texted? He texted me that. Dude, he texted me they might run the table. And I was like, look, dude, he didn't respond to this. I go, they just got to go 4-3 and they make the playoffs. They have 7 games left. The only team with a losing record that they play is the Browns, who they got smoked by. Like, let's tap the brakes about running the table.
I'm looking it up right now. I mean, run the table. They got Titans, Chiefs the next 2 games
at Titans too. But even
I don't think they run the next 2 game table. I think they've got three losses left in them.
I think they make the playoffs. So they go 4-3. But there's no room for error, man. Even like down in Tampa, that's going to be a tough game, man.
Yeah.
Not
to mention, I know it's a home game, but Monday night versus the Bills, which we'll be at, Andy.
We will.
And who's coming with us?
I don't know. The competition seems to be heating up a little.
Is it Matthew Zerks who put a 4-piece together? He's like a KFC bucket. He gave us 4 separate videos. I was watching him here with a couple people yesterday, some folks over watching football, and I watched it. We were watching the first one. I was like, oh, this is crazy. And I was like, oh, this is crazier. Wait, his shirt's off now. This is taking a turn. I love it. This competition has just heated up.
Is it Zerks or Zerkis?
Matthews, Zerkis. I don't know.
Which, by the way, Matthew, I'm going to give you a piece of advice. One, you can put, you can reply to your own tweet, just so you know. You could have a bunch. You have 4 tweets. And I think now you could actually even put all 4 videos in there.
Ooh,
right?
I don't know.
I could be wrong. I know Twitter. I might be wrong on that. Twitter lets you do GIFs and pictures with videos now, which no one's talking about. Everyone's talking about everything else. Guys,
no one's talking about it.
You can do that, which is pretty cool. So I'll just say it, Joe. I don't know if I want to do it too early. It's a 2-man race right now. I'll just be honest.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait to see what other people come up with. We're giving away the opportunity to come watch the game with us in Cincinnati on a Monday night, the second day of January, be the second day of 2023. There's a pregame Gold Star meal, a tailgate, and a Monday Night Football watching with me, Andy, and Randy.
Yeah, it's crazy. And that game, that game's going to hold a lot of weight, man.
Probably for both of them.
For both of them. Second to last game of the year. It's going to hold a lot of weight. Now, the Bills did what they had to do, which was not cover.
It was a push. 8-point push.
I'm so pissed because they missed an extra point too. We pushed. That was a game I would have loved to have on you.
Yeah.
And the Browns, like, what do you do if you're the Browns now? Like, I know he hasn't played football in so long, but like, do you even let Deshaun Watson play this year? Like, what are we doing here?
What's their record now?
3-7.
Yeah, I mean, you're not making a run.
No.
When is he supposed to come back?
I think after week 11, after this week. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I think you let him play solely because you want to showcase what you can do for anybody who might potentially think about joining in the offseason.
Yeah.
I can't believe Josie Biscoli not getting it done on another team. Did not see that coming.
Yeah. Tough sledding. I mean, imagine if you had that running game that they have. You know?
Yeah.
Like they got a great running. You
So
You
did
just gotta-
Indianapolis when he was there.
You know what they do? I've watched a lot of Browns games. They do the same thing. They come out hot like they did yesterday. They'll come out like a great first quarter, and you're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. In my head, I'm thinking, forget covering. Are the Browns going to beat the Bills? And then you're like, by quarter, halfway through the third quarter, you're like, what was I thinking?
I really need this one tonight too. You know, you've got the Niners. I've got the Cardinals. We have no Kyler Murray. Colt McCoy was questionable, but he's going to play.
You know what this reeks of then? That you definitely cover. It's one of those games where you're like,
well, I mean, if I win today, I pick up 3. If I lose tonight, I only pick up 1.
yeah, this would be huge for you.
Be a huge swing.
I was disappointed in my Chiefs, but god damn, they're good. They are just there's never a time when I watch the Chiefs where I think like I always think they're gonna win.
Yeah.
Always. Like there was no doubt in my mind when they got that ball. I said, of course they're gonna drive down and score.
Yeah.
And Mahomes, it's like he doesn't even sweat when you watch Patrick Mahomes. He's so fucking good. And Kelsey's so damn good. And just everybody. They got all those injuries. It doesn't matter. They're by far the best team in the NFL right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
well, you know, it's funny because I said this going into the season. I picked.
There it is.
I picked Mahomes for MVP. I picked the Chiefs to go back to I might have picked them to go back to the Super Bowl. I definitely picked them to go back to another AFC Championship game. But the reason I did that is because it's funny because like 2 years ago when the Chiefs win, everybody's going, Patrick Mahomes is going to win 8 titles. And he's going to win 5 MVPs. And he's going to go down the greatest quarterback ever. And then we had 1 year where they get to an AFC Championship game again and they lose it. And just one AFC Championship game loss. And people are like, oh, yeah, Herbert's going to be MVP. Josh Allen's going to the Super Bowl. Burrows took the crown as the best quarterback. I'm like, we just went from the guy's going to break all the quarterback records to like suddenly there's like other guys in the conversation. And it's just like we saw great things from Josh Allen in that playoff game. But like we've seen Patrick Mahomes do it like 50 times at this point.
Yeah. No, it's true. There's just never out. I mean, he's what did he say? Kelsey's the best tight end of all time is what he said.
Hard to argue.
He's kind of trending that way.
Yeah. Hard to argue. At least best receiving tight end of all time.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. But I'll say it, man. I think like I know they've beaten him a couple, like the Bengals match up with them, dude. It's just a thing. They've beaten him the last 2 times.
Well, I think we'll get an easy look at that. We'll get an easy preview of that at Cincinnati in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You better win you better show me you can beat them at home if you're gonna be talking about how they match up in a potential playoff game, which will clearly be an Arrowhead.
Yeah.
I'm already ready to bet with Randy. Let's get a bet. Let's get a 2-week out Chiefs Bengals bet.
Ooh.
Since you're talking about running the table. I'm not a Chiefs fan by any means, by the way. It's just like
me either.
Yeah.
That's the point. What do you do?
Yeah.
Like I'll just say it right now, Joe. The thought, like, let's just crazy Super Bowl scenario. The thought of like, and obviously they wouldn't play until the Super Bowl. Like the thought of like an Eagles versus Chiefs team just makes me laugh. Like I laugh at that. Like just because of what I know the Chiefs can do. I think from the NFC, if we look at those potential teams that could give them the most problems, I think it might be the Cowboys.
I just
or a
I just feel
Niners
like
team.
I just feel like the Cowboys have a consistency problem generally. Now they have a Mike McCarthy problem. It's like, can you get 3 or 4 good games in a row out of a Mike McCarthy team?
Yeah.
Packers had some good defenses back in the day. They also had Aaron Rodgers. You know, Cowboys were running the ball really well, but defenses get stouter in the playoffs. That's why the NFC is so wide open.
Wide open.
I mean, at this point, listen, I'm a Giants fan, and at this point with the injuries and the schedule coming up, like, it really may be tough for us to not lose a bunch of games down the stretch. But at the same time, you're like, just get in the playoffs, because this is an anything can happen year in this conference. And I think that's got to be the goal for my team, is like, that's a step, is just making the playoffs right now with this kind of team, you know? So, but at the same time, just get in, because anything can happen. I don't think you can say that about the AFC. Oh, just sneak in, be the last seed. Anything can happen. And by anything, you mean you guys are going to get boat raced by the Chiefs in round 2 if you somehow sneak out of a first round alive?
Yeah, man. I agree. Well, here's something that I think everybody should do. You should hop on over to Prize Picks, because they have a great play right now. And this is a great way to get you to sign up. This is a guaranteed W. I got an alert today for this on email. Thursday, the Vikings are playing. Their play for Justin Jefferson, it was supposed to be 85.5 more or less yards. They reduced that to half a yard.
Wow.
So if Justin Jefferson gets 1 yard and you have more than a half yard, you automatically win. So it's that easy, and that couldn't be more of a reason to go ahead and sign up and join Prize Picks today. All first-time users that deposit and use promo code DIRTY will receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100. So that is our daily fantasy partner. Support us, support the brand, support them. So download Prize Picks today and play daily fantasy sports with us. Make sure to use promo code DIRTY when you sign up. I think when I pull up the standings right now, I'm going to say it right now. The teams, I'm just going to do, I know I did it with you. I'm going to do it with myself real quick. I think the teams I'm going to do AFC and then NFC. Pretender, contender.
Yeah.
I think out of the AFC, my legit Super Bowl contenders are 3 teams: Chiefs, Bengals, Bills.
No Dolphins.
No Dolphins.
Why is that?
Because I don't know what Tua is in the playoffs. It comes down to quarterbacks in the playoffs.
Yeah, but we haven't seen him in the playoffs.
Exactly. So I'm not going to even risk it.
I'm going to put them in there.
I'm not. I'm just not.
Because it's like, we didn't know what Burrow could do in the playoffs till last year, and he went to the Super Bowl. And I'm not the world's biggest Tua fan by any means, but I think that with the receiver, you know, I've talked about it before. When you look at a Mahomes, it's like you can fill some holes on a Chiefs team that made you lose a Super Bowl or made you lose an AFC championship game by letting receivers go, because Patrick Mahomes will turn everybody into a Pro Bowl receiver. Tua, I don't believe, has that kind of ability. So they went out and they got him the Pro Bowl receiver that Mahomes had. Like, they just have so many weapons. I think they're making an offense around him. I think right now they're contenders. And especially, I'd even say this. I'm going to go so far as to say, if Josh Allen doesn't get his arm healthy, I might even have the Dolphins as more of a contender than the Bills.
No, I'm not buying it.
I think the Bills are a better team, but Josh Allen's hurt.
Yeah, no, he's hurt for sure. And the more the NFC, I'm trying to put that Ruther curse out there. The two teams I like the most to make the Super Bowl are the Niners and the Cowboys. It's almost like we forgot Jimmy G made it to the Super Bowl, or he was a half a quarter away from making it to another one last year.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying. Here's the thing about Jimmy G. You know what you get from him. Just like I think I know what I'm going to get with Shanahan. Like, you're going to get a good overall team game.
But again, it's sort of like I said about Mike McCarthy is like the Niners did it that one time, and that's great. And last year they got to the NFC, but in the end, it's still, you have to do it a few games in a row. And Jimmy G, it's just, he's so erratic. And his ceiling is not very high. Like, you're only going to get so much out of him. So what you need him to do is play up to a not very high ceiling for 3 or 4 games in a row. Now, it's going to be a lot easier because the NFC is down this year overall, and they have McCaffrey and they have Debo and then whatever. Like, but he can't just not show up one week because it's the playoffs. That's the thing about the NFC this year. There's not a single team in the NFC that has a quarterback coach combo, which to me are the two most important things that I trust a couple games in a row. That's why it is anything can happen. I trust Mahomes and, Andy Reid to reel off 4.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Even if you look at Taylor and Burrow, they got there last year, but like, do you have that confidence in them that they can reel off 3 or 4 in a row again? You're not Mr. Zach Taylor. One blowout basketball game, and suddenly they're fucking. You think Zach Taylor's got a 4-game playoff win streak in him?
No.
Again?
All I said was I think they called a great game yesterday. I'm still not big on him. I think Burrow is. I think he's that guy. I've said it for to me. Like this from watching your Giants teams. My thing is, if you can have a backup running back have 3 receiving touchdowns and a guy just joined the practice squad have your 4 touchdown passes were to a guy who just came off the practice squad and a backup running back. To me, It's like, that's a good fucking quarterback.
Yeah, of course.
Like, and I don't know if you heard it because a lot of people had done, I saw a fair amount of it. What is Burrow without Chase? Burrow's played fine without Chase.
Yeah.
That's all ridiculous. And I think you're right about Allen. If he's not healthy, and they've been my Super Bowl pick the last 2 years. By the way, I don't understand why they're playing in Buffalo this week. They're still going home. I really don't. Is it because they just want to be with their families, I guess?
They're playing in Detroit.
Yeah, sorry. I'm sorry.
And they played their game in Detroit. Yeah, I don't know why they're going home. I guess it's not that far for one.
Yeah. It's probably the most exciting game that the city of Detroit's seen in a while.
Yeah, a non-Lions game.
They're going to have a Josh Allen statue out there.
Josh Allen decides to retire from football after playing 1 game as the home quarterback in Detroit.
You know what would have been... Oh, that's funny. You would have been great if they
he just like walks out. Scott Mitchell, Barry Sanders, and Megatron are like doing the fucking Dr. Evil. Come here, son.
When you were to say walks out, I thought you were saying like Field of Dreams.
Yeah,
like they were bringing him out, like he was walking out of the corn. He was walking out of some project. Would have been funny if they would have defaced all the grit stuff.
Yeah.
Like if the Bills players would have went around and sprayed graffiti on grit. This is what I like though. So I had that bet with Dirtball Matt Boonstra. I think it was like 9 Lions wins. Like he just got egregious. And he DM'd like, I have hope now.
Yeah. 9.
Dude, I don't know. Football fans are crazy though, man.
Yeah.
Like
Football
they
fans
win.
are, yeah, football fans. Yeah, dude, I have a bet with Dave Briggs. Dave Briggs bet me $100 that the Eagles would have twice as many wins as the Giants. I'm like, I'm one win away from that being over already. Like, why would you even bet straight up $100? We'll win twice as many games as you guys. I was like, every fan of their team just goes, oh, we're gonna be the super.
So what was that thought that like the Eagles would win like 10 or 12 games?
Yeah, and the Giants would win 5
or 6.
But to me, the thing is, like, when you look at this, if you're a true football fan, like we're both real football fans that don't really like, it's not egregious homerism. You have 8 teams that you can call homerism for. And then like, I mean, I think with the retirement of Eli Manning, my just like absolute standing anything that walks on the field at MetLife is kind of gone. But like the idea that you go into the season and you don't go any Commanders, Cowboys, Giants, Eagles, any one of them could win the NFC East. The idea that you just look at it and you go, yeah, this team's going to be significantly better. We have 2 less wins than them right now. It's, 60% of the way through the season.
Yeah, I know. No, it is crazy. I just think they've done such a brilliant job of creating, like the parity that I mean, we've talked about it, right? Like the Chiefs losing, just things you never saw. Like it's funny to think that the Chiefs lost to the Colts, right? Like these things that have happened. And you're like, how did that happen? But it's also like, well, it happens because there's good damn players in every team.
Yeah.
And there's not, and the thing is like, so like yesterday, I think we both took New England. At the end of the day, it's like, there's guys who like, they're going to find like Belichick is that guy where I'm like, he's going to find a way.
Well, that's the thing with the Zach Wilson game is like, Bill Belichick's not going to get beat by somebody who's not good at playing the game. Like, if you're not smart, you're like, if you're mediocre, if you're a Ryan Fitzpatrick type, the game and you may play it erratically from time to time, but like you have bursts of it. But like Zach Wilson's bad and Bill Belichick can scheme for bad. Let's make this guy make bad decisions.
Yeah.
That's why. And but you get your Miller Lights ready. It's the Joe Prano drinking game, but that's why the Giants were able to upset that Patriots team twice, because you can't scheme for being born coming out of the womb ready to call fucking line audibles. You can't scheme for a Manning kid. Fucking Cooper, Arch. You put Arch Manning at fucking 18-year-old, still in high school, in that game yesterday, he has a better chance of beating the Patriots than Zach Wilson does. Facts.
Wow. I think we have a Vikings call. I don't know.
Let's go. Yeah.
I haven't listened to it. That was the one that called when we were live.
Great.
Or is this Farmer Dirtball? Because he doesn't.
It's raining in Mexico right now at Stadium Azteca. As the Cardinals and Niners kick off.
That helps your
yeah, it does, buddy.
All right. I think this is Farmer Dirtball because he doesn't talk trash. So I think, let's see if I'm right.
Dirty Sports, man. It's Dan Campbell. You know what I'm calling about, Joe Prano. Calling about you, man. You're worried about the heat you're getting from Vikings fans, man? You ain't seen nothing yet. We're coming for you. The roar has been restored, man. And I think we're on a 3-game winning streak right now, man. But I couldn't tell you I'm on such a nicotine buzz right now, man. And it's just, we played with a lot of grit. I think you could maybe use some of those grit signs, man. But don't worry about these petty battles with Vikings fans, man. Prano, you got you check your own house. You know what I'm saying, man? Stay dirty.
Good Dan Campbell. It's a good Dan Campbell.
He does do a good Dan Campbell. It's really good.
Yeah.
Check your own house.
I was not like, there was nothing about the game yesterday as a Giants fan where like I didn't see it. I was prepared for that. I was prepared all week for that loss.
Yeah, you were. To be fair, you were. You said that on the show. Just like you were prepared for the Kirk Cousins just meltdown. The whole team, man. After that, that game was just so set up. After that emotional win, it was just set up for a collapse.
Yeah. There was a point like in the third quarter where they were down like 30, where I was like, I guess technically if Dak Prescott fumbles a couple snaps, kicks them backwards, and the Vikings just pick up 4 consecutive snaps into the own end zone, that they could get back into this game. And I was like, what are the chances of that happening? But then Vikings fans were like, you didn't give us credit. You didn't give us credit. We rolled double sixes 11 times in a row. And we won this game. You want to talk about luck?
I want to pull up. I wonder how Nick Swartzen was doing. Hey, that's basically what Nick Swartzen tweeted yesterday.
Yeah.
His Vikings tweets are great. This is not over in caps. 10 TDs, 67 field goals, and 5 safeties, and we're good. Fuck everything.
I love Swartzen.
Before that, at the Vikings game, debating shitting in the urinal and then eating it for Thanksgiving. Urinal cake with piss and shit. Happy holidays. Oh my God, those are great. Absolutely great. Prano, let's keep it short tonight. We got a game to watch.
Is that the show?
Yeah.
I like
I'm tired. I'm sorry. I'm tired.
It's okay.
I've
You're in
heard-
charge of this. As Michael Magid said, he does the Andy Ruther role on his.
Did you hear how
on
he
his
said
podcast.
he goes keeping things moving and reading the ads? I was like, that's all I'm good for. Talk about like a low-key diss. Yeah, Ruther, you keep it moving and you read the ads. So good job.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean, listen, I just opened the rundown for the first time just to see if there's anything. And it's like, no, I think we can keep it moving. Listen, like Michael Magid said, you keep it moving. You do that. This is part of the Andy. Like Joe Prano does not decide how long or short a show goes. Joe Prano decides how much of the show gets devoted to shitting on Kirk Cousins, but Joe Prano does not call start and stop on the Dirty Sports Podcast. That's part of Andy Ruther's role.
Yeah, and my role tonight is I've had a long day watching electricians work in my house. Not that I did anything, but I'm tired. So let's get to Monday Night Football. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok.
Follow me
MySpace.
around the country. Like this coming weekend, in Plano, Texas. I'll be at the Giants-Cowboys game on Thursday, Thanksgiving Day. Are there dirtballs that are spending Thanksgiving Day at the Jerry Dome, at Jerry World? If there are, slide into my DMs on any social media at Joe Prano or Twitter at Fix Your Life. Or if you're not going to be going to the games, but you do live in the Dallas area, come to see me at House of Comedy Plano. That's House of Comedy TX, House of Comedy Texas on all social media. You can get tickets by going to my Instagram. You can get tickets by going to their social media. You can go to joeprano.com/shows. And please come see a show in Texas this weekend.
Word. Yeah. I'm gonna be seeing some comedy too. I told you I'm gonna go see Lachlan while you guys are down there seeing Joe. All right. That's our show, I think. Nothing else. We'll be back on Wednesday.
Wednesday.
We're gonna be back Wednesday because we don't do a show on Thanksgiving.
No.
So
we go to football games on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's right. And on Wednesday we'll be making our picks. So tune back in Wednesday. All right, guys. Have a great week. We'll see you in a couple days. And as always,